So 14C, it's asking us what is the third quartile of copier lifespans. I know that from what we've learned earlier that the third quartile is going to be 75% of the copiers that come first. All right, it's not 75% of the data away from the center, it's 75% of the data that comes first. So I got to figure out what that is. And from our normal distribution that we did for 14A, I know that my mean is going to be 42 months. Okay? So I got to figure out what is a z-score? Where am I at on this thing? If 75% of the copiers that come before it are in here. So I'm going to mark that at 75%. And of course, when we're trying to find percentages, when we're given the area under the curve, what we need to figure out is what is that equivalent to in terms of a z-score. Okay? So you're going to use your calculator and you're going to inverse norm, and you're going to put that 75% in as a decimal with a mean of 0, a standard deviation of 1. If you do that, you're going to get 0.6745. So I'm just going to round it to 3 decimal places. I'm going to say it's 0.674. So what that's telling me is I am 0.674 standard deviations away from the mean. Does that make sense? It's a positive z-score, so I know a positive z-score has to be to the right. So that kind of makes a little bit of sense to me. But of course, I don't know what that means in terms of months. So how do I figure that out? Well, now that I have a z-score, I can use the z-score formula. And remember that x is the number of months, u is going to be the mean of 42 months, and we have a standard deviation of 7. So what I know at this point is I have a z-score of 0.674 at that place on my normal distribution. I've got x that I'm trying to solve for. I don't know what that is in terms of month, and I have a mean of 42 divided by 7 months for a standard deviation. And if I work out the algebra on that, I'm going to solve for x, and I'm going to get 46.7 months with rounding. So that is my answer for 14C. So just to recap real quick, what I've done is I've gone from having an area, I've gone from having a percent to finding a z-score. So how did I do that? I used inverse norm on my graphing calculator. I've gone from a z-score to figure out the value for my x, and what I did for that was I used the z-score formula. You're going to be using that process in that direction or going the opposite direction for the remainder of this question. So it's really important that you learn it because I'm sure you're going to see it not just on this test, but again in the future.